Well, hello everyone, my fabulous Facebook friends. I am Heather Picken, and I help women all over the world live what I call their La Dolce Vita life, and that is the formula for fabulous living. Actually, La Dolce Vita, or I like to pronounce it La Dolce Vita, means the sweet life. And the problem I find is a lot of times is that women lose their power. And you could be a woman, professional, you could be a mother, an entrepreneur, any walk of life. As women, we really have to stick together. And part of it starts with knowing who you are. So in my book, The La Dolce Vita Formula, I talk about how to go through those steps in owning your power. Now, here's what happens if you don't own your power. I want to share a story with you with a client. I'm not going to share her name, but what has happened to her because, before she was a mess and she wasn't owning her power, okay? She was not following the formula. And when you don't follow your own unique formula, here's what happens. You attract chaos into your life, chaos and confusion. So guess what? If you're not clear on where you're going, you will definitely attract chaos. Now, this can be in any area of your life. So I'm working with this client. She's an international client, and she hired me to up-level her business. And I really helped her to generate a lot of money in her business. It was going so well. I mean, she had so much business that she could not keep up with it. Now, here's the problem. Because she couldn't keep up with it, she wanted her life to be easier, and she didn't want to travel as much. And she's just like, you know what? I just want to cut some of this out of my business plan. I'm like, okay, I get it. So anyways, she got this opportunity to merge her business with a multi-seven-figure business. Now, rule number 997, never wish for your life to be easier, because if you're not taking on challenges that are inspiring, you're going to attract chaos and confusion in your life. So let me play the scenario for you. So she got this opportunity. I told her not to take it because it wasn't aligned with who she really was. I knew her. We'd been working together for a while, and she did it anyways. And sometimes that's what happens. We have to learn our lessons. And so she merges her business. She actually moves from one city to the next. So it's kind of like she was living in LA, and she actually moved to New York City. Not really, but I'm just kind of giving you the difference in the landscape. Would you agree that Los Angeles and New York City are totally, they're totally different cities. I've actually lived in both. So totally different. So anyways, she moved over there with her husband, and all of a sudden it wasn't what she wanted it to be. So isn't that interesting? What happened is that she was a shareholder in that business, and they started treating her like an employee because she wasn't clear on her role there. She wasn't standing in her power. She was not owning it, and she was keeping herself stuck. So, so here's that scenario. She moves over to a new city, doesn't know anyone, and all of a sudden she is miserable, and she's working more than ever before. And she doesn't feel like she's really tapping into her own creative genius. This woman, she is brilliant. She is one of the most smartest females I've ever worked with. She is so incredibly smart, and the knowledge that she has, her whole training methodology, she's created this whole proprietary system for this company. So they basically hired her to be the brain. But in reality, that was not what's happening. That was going on. So she's got the chaos over here. Okay, so keep that in mind. At the same time that this is happening, she found out that her husband had multiple affairs, and he was a man of power, and he wanted to work his way up the ladder and by sleeping with someone else in power. And it was really interesting because as this was going on, I said, okay, this is really interesting. We've got to really dissolve all these emotions and things that are going on. What do you want to do? And she says, I want to work it out. I said, okay, that's fine. So what's interesting is that let's go back to following the Dolce Vita Formula. everyone on this planet has a different way in how you see the world. No two people on this planet see the things the way that you see it, okay? That is why there's a lot of difference in opinions, right? And so if you don't know what your own formula is, and you always follow it by your top 3 highest personal values, okay? So you need to define that. If you fail to follow the formula, again, you attract the chaos into your life. And so I did an assessment on him just by asking her some specific questions, and I found out that they were a mismatch. So anytime you're in a relationship with someone that has radically opposing personal values, it's not going to work out. You want to find someone that has complementary values. And so I did that assessment. I said, listen, I said, he's telling you one thing, but he's demonstrating another. So, you know, here's the thing. It's not what you're saying that you're going to do. It's what your life is demonstrating that is really your highest personal values. And people have no idea who they are. Therefore, they're living a life of feeling, just distracted. They're confused. They're all over the place. And I work with high-level entrepreneurs to women leaders, women professionals all over the world, and I see the same challenges. So she's, so I'm giving her this assessment. She wants to work it out. And I'm like, no judgment. It's like, whatever you want to do, whatever's most aligned with who you are, I'm going to support you on that. But again, what was happening is that he really didn't want to be in that relationship because his focus was really being in his career. And there's nothing wrong with that, but he wasn't meeting her halfway to make the relationship work. Okay, so we've got the picture painted. Here she has the chaos in her business, right? She's being treated like an employee because she doesn't have any boundaries. She doesn't have any boundaries in a relationship. So, she's feeling really out of touch. She's feeling confused. She's having brain fog. And then she's labeling herself as being depressed. Now, she can't perform at her work because she's got this chaos in a relationship. And all of a sudden, guess what happens? She creates illness in her body. Now, interestingly enough, her health, she had a high priority in her relationship. So when I did her values assessment, she really wanted to have an amazing relationship. That was really important to her. She had a high value with her spiritual quest, her life purpose. But guess what? That business was not treating her exactly how she wanted to be treated. And, she also had a high value on her mindset. She's constantly developing it. But here's what happened. Everything took a toll because now she had to focus on her health. So when you attract chaos and confusion in your life, what happens is that you will attract illness or disease to get you to wake up. So as a woman, I want you to look at your health and vitality. If you're not feeling focused, if you're not inspired by what you're doing, your body is going to give you feedback to your conscious mind to get you to pay attention. We now see this demonstrated through the study of epigenetics, which is basically a switch of turning on those genes that can create dis-ease in the body. And so I saw all of this playing out. I said, if you don't get clear on what you want, your body is going to fall apart. You're actually going to get in a worse place than you are right now. I said, do you want to keep going down this way? She's like, absolutely not. And so we got really clear. And we got clear on the boundaries in her business, owning her power. And I said, listen, you cannot be afraid of breaking through on, what you want, because you're afraid of what other people might think of you. And this is important as a woman. A lot of women want to play it nice. They don't want to own their power because they're fearful of what other people might think. And I'm here to tell you, if you're not living your life, you're not going to create the health and vitality and be really fulfilled in your life. And that's a huge problem because your body is always expressing to you. Your body, you want to listen to your body. If your body is breaking down consistently, you want to take notice. And so, I asked her to get really clear on what she wanted. I helped her to break through the fear because she was just being disempowered in that area and also being disempowered in a relationship. And I said, okay, let's look at what you want in your relationship. Tell me what you want. because at that time she could not imagine her life without her husband. But her husband was not on board, and he just, he was kind of making it her fault. And and I said, okay, so you don't want to be in this relationship. He doesn't want to work on it. Because I totally believe if you want to stay in a relationship, you can work it out. Okay. But at the same time, if your health is taking a toll and that other person isn't willing to commit or meet you halfway, guess what? It's not going to work out. So we got really clear, but she had fears about this relationship. And the fear was, Heather, I am in my upper 50s. Who is going to want to be with me? And I said, that is a fantasy that you've created for yourself. That is a belief, and it's untrue. And I'm 1000% certain of it. And so when I helped her to balance her mind around the fear, because if you can't balance your mind around the fear, what happens is that you keep perpetuating that same thing over and over again. So it's important as a woman to own your power in every single area of your life, because if you don't, what's going to happen is you're going to attract someone or something that will overpower you. And I guarantee it, because it's happened to me. And that's why I love sharing this message. So let's go back to the story of this client. Helped her to get clear. I helped her to identify her highest personal values and why that's important. And I said, this is the formula that you need to follow. And I also helped her to break through the fear. And so here's the cool thing. She was able to go back into that business situation and own her power. She was able to speak her truth and not subordinate to authority figures or other people that were telling her, oh, you've got to do this. And so I want you to look at your life. Are you living in your fear? What is that fear? Identify the specific fear that you are holding yourself back. You are shrinking instead of shining. And look at, is that creating disease or health issues in your body? Look at your body. Is your body trying to get your attention? So she got the business straightened out. And then also she got clear on that relationship and decided to leave her husband. And after that, she went out and started dating. And guess what? She has more guys that want to go out with her than she knows what to do with. And a great thing that's happening is now her health is getting back to the natural state that she was already in before. When we started working together, she had health and vitality. She was on fire. She felt like she was in the flow. And that is so important to really, as a woman, to take care of yourself, have that personal care. And so, again, this is a science. This is a proven science. If you follow it, if you follow your own formula, then what happens is you're going to attract the people and resources to you. So it's important, again, as women, especially with what's going on today, whether you're a woman professional, I don't know who's watching here today. I just want to say hello. If you are a woman professional, or maybe you are an entrepreneur, or maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, it doesn't matter. But if you don't see the value inside of yourself, no one else will. You get pulled in all different directions and say yes to everyone. And I'm telling you, you've got to piss people off in order to appreciate yourself. And that is a fact, because you're with yourself 24/7. If you live your life to make nice with everyone else, and that could be, in your profession, or it could be in your personal life, you're going to start beating yourself up. You're going to create resentment for yourself and resentment for that other person. When you own your power, you know who you are on the deepest level. You know where you're going, and you're not going to stop. And you are going to attract all of the people and resources to you. Why do I know this? How do I know this is true? Because this is what I do all day long. I work with women entrepreneurs and women professionals, teaching them how to find their unique formula. And it works every single time. If you fail to follow your formula, you attract the chaos and the challenges. And I could tell you from personal experience, this is exactly what I went through. When I wasn't owning my power, what happened, I would get myself into these relationships where I made myself small. I allowed these men to overpower me. And in one instance, this was years ago, I was with a boyfriend friend who, it was very big, and I was leaving that relationship, and he took a glass and he threw it at me, and it came this close to my eye. It almost shattered my eye. So that was like a huge wake-up call for me. And, for me, I don't have any trauma around that, because I've been able to go in there and realize that, we experience things in life to teach us lessons. So you can be a victim, or you can, be a victor of your life. And that can only happen by empowering yourself in every single area of life. We go around the wheel of life. I talk about it in my book. I have worked with women all over the world, and with the, with really some challenging things, from being molested, being raped, being sexually harassed, having their husbands cheat on them. And this impacts their business. Everything that you're going through where you're not owning your power is going to impact all the areas of life. And so that's why it's so important to stay grounded and realize that, sometimes we have to be unbalanced in order for us to create, fulfillment in our life, in order for us to really optimize how we want to live, and realize too that it's not a linear path. We are going to attract some things that are going to take us off our path. But if you don't want to attract a lot of chaos and challenge, what you want to do is you want to go after challenges that are inspiring, challenges that really fill you up to where you're making a difference, no matter what that is for you. To me, I define success as creating really fulfillment, maximum fulfillment in all 7 areas of your life. And don't let anyone else dictate what success means to you. So it's really, really important. So I just want to send out that message to every woman today. And hey, if you're a man that's watching, I work with fabulous men too. So I don't want to negate you. Men are definitely, there's some amazing men out there that actually support women. They want to see us on an equal playing field. So, this is not to bash men at all. I think there's some amazing men. Matter of fact, my boyfriend is, of course, amazing. He really is a strong proponent of seeing women in power, really owning their power. So if you found this message to be helpful, here's what I want you to do. I want you to share it with as many friends as you can. Post it on their Facebook wall. I actually want to do something really special for the next couple days. I have like a couple boxes of books that my new book normally sell for $20. I want to give everyone a book on $10 a book. It includes shipping. I literally make nothing out of it. But one of my things that I want to do, so if you want a book for $10, is while supplies last, just private message me, or you can send me an email, heather@heatherpicken.com. I am thinking about partnering with some amazing causes for women and just giving some of the proceeds to my book. Women, there's a couple of different organizations that actually groom women to start running for different offices, and so I think that's important to get women into politics, have an equal playing field. That is another conversation in and of itself. But if you're listening to this and you're a woman and you're an entrepreneur, I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing to further the cause of women? Do you have a message? Do you have a mission? And if you don't feel that you can make a difference, that's just not true, because it just takes one woman with one message and a mission, and you can make the change in the world. If you're listening to this and you feel like you haven't owned your power, first off, I want to let you know that don't feel shame and guilt around that. We all have our own story, and this is how we learn. We learn the most and we grow the most by having some of those challenges. Those are necessary to make us go to those next levels of whatever that is for you. So don't beat yourself up, and I think that is really, really important. I have a woman that I'm working with in one of my programs who had a lot of things happen to her on incest, molestation from her parents. I mean, imagine that. I mean, those are challenging things. Because she went through my Dolce Vita Formula, after 40 years of beating herself up, she's now giving herself permission to shine. She's giving herself permission to do something amazing with her life. And that is my mission, because I don't want any woman on this planet to think that they are less than. And that's why no matter what has happened to you, realize that you can empower yourself. And a lot of it is just due to how you're perceiving yourself. So when you change your value, when you raise the value and how you see yourself, you are going to embrace, obviously, the value within yourself. And that's going to translate out in the world. So you got to value yourself. And when you do, the world opens up. You attract the opportunities to you. I have to tell you a quick little story. So I was working with a client on a VIP day. And, she had a lot of things happen to her. She went through a divorce. She lost one of her businesses, and she kind of had to close the doors. And she had this opportunity where, because she was a woman on a mission, or I should say she is a woman on a mission, she has the certainty of knowing the value, but she just needed some help. She needed someone like myself to help her to get clear. And because I helped her to get clear, this is the cool thing. She attracted an investor in her business to help her fund her business vision. And so maybe you're watching this, you're saying, gosh, I'd love to do amazing things, but I have no money. That is a perception. And if you're truly clear on your mission and purpose, and you articulate that to someone else, as many people as you never know what's going to happen. So she attracted this person, and we put together a business plan. Part of my business plan for her is to get clear on her vision. I have a very holistic approach that works if you do it, step by step. So I said, what is your vision for the business? Not a marketing statement, but what is the vision? We got to get clear. And so we spent time on that. And then we started creating the strategy on the steps that she needed to take. So this person was not going to say yes until we had all this together. So we just found out the other day, green light. And the great thing that happened is now she's getting people out of the blue wanting to work with her. So that's great. She's like, I'm not even doing anything. I haven't even implemented the strategy yet that we created. So this is why the vision is important. This is why it's important to empower yourself and have a clear vision. Because she was clear on her vision, this is the beautiful thing about it, is that you will spontaneously attract the people and resources because you're congruent. When you're not congruent, you attract the chaos and confusion, just like I was telling you about my other client. So it is wise to get crystal clear on what you want. I call it creating your La Dolce Vita vision. What is it that you want to do right now? Even if you don't have a business, I don't care. But if you don't plan out your life, someone or something will overpower you. So that is my message and my mission today, to share that with you. And again, if you found this to be helpful, please share this with some woman on your page, or man, doesn't matter, that needs to hear this, that feels they are down on their luck. I will tell you, many times I wanted to throw in the towel. So many times in my business, beating myself up. Why am I not where I want to be? And the reason why I was beating myself up is that I was comparing my life to someone else, comparing myself to a fantasy that wasn't true to who I was. The moment that I said, you know what, I don't care what anyone else thinks about me, I'm going to do it my way, that's when things started to change. So I want you to take a deep breath, let go, and forget about what other people think. Value yourself, go after something that is extraordinary so that you can make a difference. You make a difference in your life, you make a difference in your family, and make a difference all across the globe. And I have certainty about that. And last thing before I go, because I'm really clear on my mission and purpose, I have a couple of amazing opportunities. They may or may not happen, but the fact that this opportunity might happen, it's so freaking big. It's mind-blowing. I'm really trying to stay balanced about it and not get too excited. And if it doesn't happen, that's fine. But you will be the first one to know, my Facebook friends will be the first people to know if it comes true. I should say when it comes true, right? Putting it out there. But that's it. That's it for today. And again, I hope this inspires you in the world of uncertainty, because there's a lot of uncertainty that's going on. But the most important thing is how you're owning your power as a woman and as a leader in your life. So take care, everyone. Bye-bye.